enough bowel cleansing. Why don't we?
Honestly, this could have been like half the episode
Yeah,
right
really.
here.
I know, I know.
Yeah, this was a
So,
good conversation.
Uh,
let's kick it off anyways, kind of officially. Then we can. I like honestly since Mike has been, has his thing going on. He hasn't been on in a while. We've gotten very relaxed and not not doing a good intro, but that's okay. I like it. Anyways, let's kick it off here. Welcome to a Campfire Gaming Podcast. I'm kind of your host. Joining me tonight is Chris and Rich. How are you guys doing?
Good.
doing okay.
I was doing great before we had to do an intro.
Yep. After our possibly
Now it's all
10-minute
formal.
cold open.
Yeah, I know. It's all formal, and we need to just get all loosey goosey, man. You just gotta be like, hey,
Don't worry, I have my
just
loose
talk.
screws.
We just are here to talk about video games and stuff, and how all the people listening should join us on Discord so that they can talk about video games and stuff with us.
I like how you rolled that in there.
I know, right?
Yep.
Find it at campfiregamingpodcast.com. Find our Discord.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of good conversations on there
Yeah.
recently.
We're-
It's kind of blowing up a lot, which has been
Right.
a lot of fun.
Lots of engagement happening. It's good stuff. I love
Yep.
it.
Slowly growing, but yeah, we're hitting that point where we're making new friends and having a good time. Getting some suggestions in book club too. So
Yes.
we got our work cut out for us for the next couple
of months.
So
Yeah.
good time. Talking about book club games, this was a past one. Kind of the unofficial. I think this is just Cullen and Mike and myself that did this one, but it was kind of the start of the book clubs, even though it wasn't officially book club. But Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. It got. I don't remember hearing anything about this, so to me, this was a stealth update to the current game. Where they're it's basically a next gen upgrade. They're doing the 4K update, the particles, textures. The trailer they showed for it and some of the gameplay I watched looks it was already a great looking game. I don't remember, did either of you guys play Hellblade?
I've played it piecemeal.
Nope.
But obviously I wasn't part of the team at the time, so I didn't play it for
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, you guys were the ones that kind of started the idea of the whole book club thing by playing Hellblade, so I just didn't participate.
Well, since you haven't played it, Rich, and since it sounds like you didn't finish it, Chris, go back and play this, especially now with the sexy update. So it's a great game. My only tip to you guys and anybody else that might play this because of my suggestion, play it with headphones on.
I've heard that.
They do a lot with was it binaural audio? And it's fantastic. It's really cool.
Is it an ASMR game?
It could not really, but since they deal is it psychosis? I think is
okay.
There's kind of some disorders.
Trauma,
they use audio to kind of Senua has people talking to her.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have any yeah. It's not an ASMR game. That's a bummer.
No.
You don't have any licking in your ear or anything like that?
Not that I remember, no.
Oh.
And this was at the time in our podcast where we brought ASMR up pretty regularly too. So
that's true. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was right up there with shitting on Stadia and Anthem. So it was like you could count on those three things: Anthem, Stadia, and
ASMR
in an episode.
Hey, you know what? We still do that now, minus the ASMR.
Yep. I like it. I like that call out on that last episode and shitting on it again. But Chris, you played Stalker, right? I believe we've talked about this at the Xbox showcase back in June. They showed off Stalker 2. It kind of looked pretty cool. This was the one where they're throwing bolts out in the middle of nowhere and there was weird anomalies.
Yeah.
It's been officially confirmed that is going to be using Unreal Engine 5.
It's going to be so cool. I'm so excited for that game.
I'm really excited for this. I've not played a Stalker. This looked interesting. But the game is supposed to release next April. So that's got to mean Unreal Engine 5 is pretty darn close to being officially released because that's about 8 months away. So you'd assume Epic would officially release the engine. This is more from a game developer side. I'm excited to get my hands on. I know you can get on your hands on it now with kind of a, I guess it's an Unreal Engine 5 beta or whatever they have, but
it's got to be close. I wonder if we'll have around the holiday season, we'll get our first like confirmations that games being released will be on that engine, during that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can already make stuff with Unreal Engine 5, is for better or worse, it seems like it's very close to being done.
Mm-hmm.
And the build that we probably have in the beta is, I don't know, probably a couple months. I would say maybe a couple months behind what their actual stable build is probably sitting at. So it's probably got a bunch of stuff getting ready to go.
Yeah, should be exciting. But the exciting part about this too is it's joining a growing list of games that are going to be on Unreal Engine 5. So,
including ours, right?
Yep, ours. Well, that's the cool thing for anybody out there, any developers that are working in Unreal Engine 4. I know we mentioned this before when Unreal Engine was first announced, and then I think even again whenever they did a little more earlier in this year and we talked about it. You will be able to, they say it's, we'll see how easy, but you'll be able to port your Unreal Engine 4 projects into Unreal Engine 5. And there's always some kind of kinks and things you got to iron out, but it sounds like it should be pretty smooth process, hopefully. I'm sure there'll be some updating if you want to use, Night or Lumen. I'm sure you'll have to do some updating on your game to take advantage of those. But
yeah, didn't you already do that with one of our projects? You brought it into Unreal 5?
I think I did that locally on my machine. But I mean, we're doing great work, but we're not that far yet. So
you mean I'm doing great work?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
It's true though, so that's why. But again, kind of in the same vein of Unreal Engine 5, it's also been confirmed that the Outer I was about to mess this up. The Outer Worlds 2 is also going to be using Unreal Engine 5. That's another Microsoft studio, and it joins Ninja Theory and the Coalition as a Microsoft studio using Unreal Engine 5. So it's kind of exciting to see, as you'd imagine, Microsoft is and their studios are going to probably try to use the latest and greatest so they can get the latest and greatest on their Series S and X. But it's going to be an exciting a year or two to see kind of the advancement in some of the games on PC and for the next gen consoles and how they look. But yeah, it's exciting. Depending on if our long cold open stays or not, I mentioned how Doom Eternal on the Series X looks fantastic. So if games start looking like that, I'm excited. I'm all for it.
And see, that's one thing I'm actually really happy about, and one thing that actually gives me confidence that that Microsoft is doing good on their word by saying that they're allowing the developers to kind of make their own decisions. This isn't like an EA sort of thing where they're trying to mandate that every single studio be using Frostbite engine. So you have studios that are using, you have Halo Infinite, which went and built the Slipspace engine. You have people using Unreal Engine 4 and 5. You have people using id Tech. You got the whole sheboygan of Sheboygan? What?
Shebang?
You got the whole
hot dog?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, you have the whole shebang of game engines that you get to choose from, but not one of them is being demanded on any particular studio, which I think is great. That's great.
I'm excited and hopeful that some future Microsoft studios, obviously Bethesda's part of them now, so there's already some using it, but like other not originally under the Bethesda umbrella studios that would use id Tech 5, right? I think that's what we're on. id Tech 5, or are we in 6?
I think 5.
I think, yeah, 5. I'm fairly certain it's 5.
So it'll be interesting to see because they're part of the family now, and it'll be interesting to see if some studios are like, hey, let's get all buddy with it and start using their engine. And yeah, make games with it.
I would love to use the id Tech engine. I've seen some performance out of that, and that engine looks like it's phenomenal.
It would be fun to play with.
I bet.
I don't think that's never been like an Unreal type thing where it's open to the public. It was only ever map editors, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Womp womp.
Womp womp womp. Sticking with next gen kind of upgrades. Rich, why don't you tell us a little bit about Splitgate? Because I believe you the only one here that's played that so far?
Probably.
Is it awesome?
Honestly, yes. Yeah, I thought this game was gonna be gimmicky. Wow, I was not. I was very wrong. I was very, very wrong. I mean, like the whole portal thing with people like to compare it to Halo. It's kind of like Halo, but I would almost blend it even more towards like it's kind of in that middle scale between Halo and Call of Duty. Like there's a lot of like sprinting around and a lot of like, stop and go movement kind of a thing. Like when you get into an engagement, the kill times are faster than that of say Halo, but not as fast as Call of Duty. You have objective game types and things like that. So it's like it's like a weird blend of those two.
I think the biggest issue is after I saw you were playing that game on Discord, I typed it into Google just to see what came up, and their link on Google's page is Splitgate Halo meets Portal, and then it's a free to play game, and it's just like, why are you advertising yourself that way? Like, don't just be yourself. Don't tell me your Halo meets Portal.
Not knocking them, but the clicks. I mean, Halo and Portal, it's going to generate some buzz.
Yes, they are two properties that going together, it sounds awesome. But it's just like, of course I'm going to be thinking about Halo now.
Well, to be fair, yeah, it is a thing that is really awesome. Like the amount of crazy movement you can do with portals involved is really insane. And the fact that you can shoot through portals and like is even like you can do some real galaxy brain tier shit with the portals. And I like it's very satisfying to pull that kind of shit off when like you put like a portal that's sitting on like a ceiling or something like that overlooking a point that somebody can't see, and you have a rocket launcher and you just see them run under the point and you shoot it through the portal and it just sails down and hits somebody. Or you do some like like PogChamp tier stuff where you see a portal open up, like an enemy portal open up somewhere in the distance, and you just take your sniper rifle and just whip a shot into the portal. You can't see through any enemy portals, but you whip a shot through it, you get a headshot through the portal, and you just feel like a god. Like, it's so good, dude. Like, it's a good game.
It was funny. I had guess it was about 2-3 weeks ago, right before they had their server issues. I had a buddy. He's like, "Hey, you should check out Splitgate," and I downloaded it. I think the day before, like they just got slammed. I was like, you know what? I'll wait for them to figure out their server issues. And then next thing you know, I see like 3 or 4 people on my friends list on Steam that have downloaded it and they're playing it. And I have it downloaded, but I still haven't gotten around to try it out. So,
oh yeah, you should definitely do that. They have sorted out quite a bit of the login issues, and really right now it's really bad during like peak time. But even then, it's not as bad as it was. Like they've definitely sorted out a lot of it because they've all of a sudden just had a massive explosion of traffic now. What caused it? Not really sure, but I saw people were playing it and I was like, oh yeah, I meant to give that a try like a year ago, but I never really got around to it.
You know what made it explode?
What?
Halo meets Portal.
That's probably.
Yeah, it actually, I mean, that's good news for them, right? The excitement. I'm sure they've had thousands and thousands of new players on their games. So that's exciting for them because those server issues also, I think, got them some more funding so they can, obviously fix their servers and add more servers so that people aren't waiting a few hours to play or an hour or something like that. I forget. One of my buddies tried to play the weekend. It was slammed. I think it was an hour he had to wait to get in or something like that. But the downside to that is they were planning to have, I think that game officially launches, is that the end of the month or is it officially launch? No,
it's in beta right now.
But I think it officially launches in like a week or two. But they had planned to have console versions, but that's been pushed out so they can basically keep the PC version
stable.
stable, which is good. I mean, that's where it started. It's where your player base is right now. Expand, that's kind of like with us and Hell Let Loose, right? They're getting it working and good on PC, and it'll come later to consoles. So
God, I gotta get more time to play that game. I haven't had any.
And I'm sure, if you are a console player, I mean, you can. As far as I know, this works just fine with a controller right now. So you can still play it like a console.
Yeah.
Perfect.
If you really want that controller experience. I am going to have to fight the urge when Halo Infinite comes out to use mouse and keyboard. 20 years of playing Halo with a controller. I don't know. It's going to be hard. But
well, you got 6 months of playing it on MCC with a mouse and keyboard, so
I was playing with a controller. I played it on PC, but I told you that the muscle memory, the instinct, it's all there already.
It's a crutch.
So, yeah. But hey, I play Hell Let Loose with mouse and keyboard. I couldn't imagine to do that. Imagine playing that with a controller. So,
me neither.
That's so many complex buttons.
Yep.
So many buttons.
How do you chat? Like commit? Anyways,
right? That's the one I get hung up on.
We'll talk about that more whenever it comes to consoles, I'm sure. But from a game that keeps on giving, Grand Theft Auto. We got a little Grand Theft Auto news here. So we did. It seems like the Germany PlayStation site spoiled. Big surprise. We already knew that GTA 5 was coming to next gen, but looks like they are going to be hitting, as you'd imagine, 4K 60. So again, not a big surprise there. But some of the other kind of bummer news is that GTA Online, the servers are being shut down for the older systems, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. I honestly think that's an okay move. I'm sure there's still plenty of people that play it.
Is there?
There always is. Have you hopped it?
Yeah,
I remember hopping in years later to.
I do almost want to check it.
There was this. What was this Star Wars game I tried hopping into years later?
Battlefront.
On the. No, it was another weird one. But I hopped into it years later on a console, and there were still people playing it. There's still people that play and love Titanfall, the original one from years ago. I remember years after there'd been a million more Battlefields, and I hopped into Bad Company 2. And I mean, at that point, the unfortunate thing is they're mostly the tryhards. So if you're new, you're gonna have you're not gonna have a good time. But yeah, so they're finally shutting these servers down. The kind of unfortunate thing is you won't be able to transfer your saves, I guess we'll just say, your characters and your accounts to, which I think is, I mean, this game was made basically like 15 years ago. I don't know how long has it been out now, 10, 12 years, but has it been that long? When was it? 20?
I think it was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, it was
somewhere around there.
Like the year before the Xbox One came out. Because I remember it was a big deal to get your character transferred from the 360 to the Xbox One.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had it for the 360 originally.
Mm-hmm. Now, have we gotten confirmation yet? Because you did have to buy a whole separate copy of the game for the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, whichever. Have they confirmed whether or not the next-gen versions are going to cost money, or are they just going to smart delivery it just like so many other companies are doing these days?
I don't think they've said anything on that.
Okay,
and the only kind of news for the next gen version at leak, is it a leak whenever it's on PlayStation Germany's site, that's 4K 60. But I haven't seen anything on if it's going to be smart delivery or free upgrades.
And then when do we get our Red Dead Redemption 2 4K upgrade?
Maybe I'll finally actually play GTA 5 more than just GTA Online.
Did you ever play through the single player?
Oh, it's so
good. No,
it's really good.
It's
what?
So good.
Like that's I would say that's better than the multiplayer. The multiplayer is whatever. I feel like that's forgettable, but
yeah,
the single player was really, really good.
That single player was one of my favorites.
I think it was Dan bought it for me and years ago, and I just never. Now we hopped on and played. There was a couple of us that hopped on and played GTA Online multiple times for some of their events, some of those like racing things that they did. They did the Tron themed whatever light bikes. That was kind of fun. I did enjoy just messing around on the island or whatever whatever city it is, where like I would just. The thing I had most fun doing was ramping into the military base and trying to steal a jet. And that was a lot of fun, but never actually sat down and started the campaign. So,
wow,
I keep referring to it, but it's on that very long list of games that I keep saying I'm going to go back and play, or finally play. So maybe someday. I don't know. I don't play Destiny anymore, so I've got all this free time, right?
Yes, free time.
It's all been replaced by Hell Let Loose.
Yeah, I was didn't have anything going on last night, and I was like, oh, I really want to play Hell Let Loose. I'm like, no, gotta get this book club game. Gotta play some of that. So played some Psychonauts instead, which is a great game so far.
It is.
We'll talk about it more, but
yes,
so far it's pretty fun.
A few episodes away.
Another game that's kind of getting end of life update here in just a little less than a month out is Forza Motorsports.
It's Forza
Motorsports 7.
Forza. Yeah, I will bet you that's how it's pronounced.
There's an invisible T in there.
It's Italian.
Forza.
That's why it's got the emphasis on the Z. Forza.
Go like this. Forza.
Yeah.
We're going to get complaints.
Yeah. This is a game that launched almost 4 years ago, and they mentioned that they're going to no longer be selling the game or DLC for it. I imagine if you go buy a disc copy, like any of those games that are taken off digital stores, they'll work and all that. But initially I was like, oh, great. Now we're going to get a bunch of probably Forza fans that are going to get mad about this. But then I kind of read why they're doing it. There's a lot of licensing that they is causing them to unlist the game. And I thought about it, I was like, we've seen that with games over the years. There's plenty of games that
their license is expiring or something like that,
since they use real world cars, right?
So yeah.
I didn't was it like Guitar Hero or
Heroes had a
Rock Band has had things
with that.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like if you're the publisher developer, I don't really know who deals with that. Probably the publisher. You're either trying to convince them to just indefinitely sign away the rights to the car and then doing that for every game, or you're saying just for this block of time, assuming we'll have something new come out before then, and people aren't going to care. But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just kind of thought it was interesting, but I was also glad to not see any big, again, I think that's a very valid explanation. And sometimes these games do come back. What was the game? I feel like it was just recently
Scott
too.
Pilgrim?
Where was that? Yeah, Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim had a huge issue with that, and it came back.
Because that was a big issue with Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, that was the game I was thinking of. And it's not knocking on racing games, but they do, especially the Forza series. There's multiple ones. I know there's Forza, and then there's Forza Motorsport or whatever, right? Or Horizons.
Yeah, it's Forza Motorsports and Forza Horizon, depending upon the style of game you want to play.
But there's enough of those games coming out where, again, not into these games. So, comment or come to our Discord and tell me I'm wrong. But I imagine people aren't going to be too, beat up about it. So,
so as of right now, since you have less than a month to buy it, it's the Ultimate Edition, I think is what it's called, with everything, is $20 on Xbox. So you really, if you haven't bought it yet, you don't have an excuse anymore. $20 for like several hundred cars. Just go buy it if you want it.
That's a lot of cars.
It's a lot of cars, including I think the Fast and the Furious ones. I think that was part of this one.
Does it come with the family too?
Yeah. The case of Corona.
Family is always there.
Can I jump from cars to car?
No, sadly. Though I could see that happening in Forza Horizon. That'd actually be in tune with their aesthetic.
Yeah. Anyways, either of you guys Duke Nukem fans?
Not since 2000, I think.
I'll be honest.
It's been a while. I like the old one.
Yeah.
Zzz.
Did you know about this canceled prequel to Duke Nukem?
Mm-hmm.
Not before this article came out.
Did you? The trailer for it was pretty rough.
It's pretty rough.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, I wonder why it got canceled.
Right.
I did have to. I did notice after you read there. So anyway, so there was a Duke Nukem prequel that was, I guess, at one point in development that was canceled. What was it for? Probably around 2008. It looks like, but a trailer just was released, and it's rough even for 2008. The one kind of thing I could maybe forgive him for it, reading the article, is it sounded like it was kind of a vertical slice kind of trailer. Like, this is what the game could be, try to wow whatever execs to get some funding. So,
Trying to impress the investor.
Yep. Try to impress them, get some funding, get the publisher to give you some money to make your game. So that could be, a mix between 2008 and it sounds like it was a vertical slice trailer. Might be why it looked not great. But it also looked like they were trying to go for the co-op stuff. Because there was was it P2, P3, P4 showed up at some point, and yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So is it supposed to be like a prequel to Duke Nukem 3D? This is what I was kind of confused by, is that so Duke Nukem 3D is a sequel.
Yes.
There were so is this like a prequel to the platformers? Or is this like are they calling it a prequel to Duke Nukem 3D?
Is it a pre-sequel?
Maybe.
Gearbox had another
Oh,
game
god damn it.
that did that.
Yeah, that's where Gearbox got the idea in the first place. God damn it.
That's where they got the idea, yeah. Well, it's kind of a prequel, but it's also a sequel. They kind of had similar. I guess I can't really say that because I've never played a Duke Nukem game, but weren't Duke Nukem kind of a little over the top, a little jokey, and right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like a hokey 90s action, 80s 90s action movie trope.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It's fun. You should play it. You should play a Duke Nukem 3D. Duke Nukem 3D is awesome.
I mean, some of it doesn't really age well, but the jokes are still mildly entertaining.
Book club?
I think the game itself is pretty fun.
Could we get Mike to play it? Book club?
I don't know how you'd be able to get a copy of the game.
What did it release on?
Good luck.
PC?
DOS.
DOS?
It released on DOS.
Yeah, it did. But there was an Xbox 360 release.
So maybe we'll put a little asterisk next to it. Maybe future book club game.
I mean, I have it, so
I'm sure I have it on a platform. Oh, there's in fact an Xbox One release. 20th Anniversary World Tour Edition.
Yeah, that's the one. I think that was on Steam, which is actually totally fine. Like one of those on Steam. I don't know if Steam still has it, but the one on Steam was fine. Do. Well, there you go. Go buy it on Steam.
Perfect.
It'll probably be like $5 or something.
It's $20.
Okay, wait for it to be on Steam sale and then buy it for like 99 cents.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Fun.
Oh, memories.
Speaking of another, I don't know how to transition this. We're just going to go right into it. I thought I had a good transition. I was like, no, it's terrible. As with a few of the things we'll talk about tonight, there's only 2 or 3 of them, but I do want to preface this is a rumor. It could be just misinterpretation of the data that showed up, but we finally kind of got some news on Beyond Good and Evil 2, potentially. The potential news is that last gen is canceled, so no Xbox One or PS4 version of the game. And where this news comes from is on the Ubisoft website, where they only list PC Xbox Series S/X and PlayStation 5 as the platforms it's going to be on. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's okay news. And I'm also wondering if that's why it's been in development hell, because last we saw this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, something like
Well, that seems to be kind of a common thing with a lot of games that we're trying to develop between platforms, is that it was just awful to do it. And then it's just is slowing things down and causing problems. That's why they've had to delay like next gen upgrades, because they just either didn't have the time to do it, or they couldn't just cut the cord and be like, you know what, it's last gen, we don't need it.
And that's I think that some of the potential, maybe some of the reason we haven't heard about it in forever is they were maybe because it looked very ambitious. They had that kind of No Man's Sky flying in and out of planets and things like that, right? And I'm wondering if they just, I mean, it's Ubisoft, so it took them probably forever to get to this point, but realized like, hey, especially the OG Xbox and PlayStation, OG Xbox One and PlayStation 4, are probably couldn't handle it, right? So I don't know. I never actually played the first. I got an hour or two into the first one. Never actually got any farther. But I know it's kind of cult classic, or it's
fine.
Kind of, yeah. It was kind of one of those like. It was good for the era that it released in.
Yeah,
it's been more than a decade since I've played it, so I don't remember much about it.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's on my list of that long list I keep talking about. Someday maybe I'll get to it.
It's kind of like, I think it wasn't that kind of in that same era as like Psychonauts.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I remember.
It was 360 era because I remember I was,
Was it even 360?
Yeah, because that's what I guess own it on.
Like I think I played it on PC, so I don't really remember.
Yeah, so it would have come out. Yeah, it was PC. I believe PC 360 and PlayStation 3.
See, and I vaguely recall, I, for the love of God, don't remember why this is triggering. I vaguely recall it being released on the 360 as like an arcade game, not as a actual, original release date was 2003. It was re-released on the Xbox 360 in 2011.
Oh, wow. 8 years later.
Yeah.
They're probably getting all excited, so they could announce Beyond Good and Evil 2. Because that was
right around,
I think,
first rumblings about it.
When did we get that first trailer? So long. Anyways, yeah. But I think if this is true, it's probably a good move for it. I know people are still having trouble getting a series and a PlayStation 5, getting a hold of those. But I think in the long run, it's just going to be good for the game, for them to make that decision. And, we've talked about how Cyberpunk should have made that decision, but yeah.
Probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have helped out a lot.
Yep. But I think we're getting into, I should have labeled this section. We seem to have a few of these every time we kind of do our news updates. Some delays. We have a couple delays announced last couple weeks. Life is Strange Remastered has been delayed to early 2022. This is to give more time to the team to put out Life is Strange True Colors, which is actually out in it's probably about 3 weeks out, September 10th. The other downside for all you Switch fans, Life is Strange True Colors is actually also getting delayed out of the September 10th date. They didn't say when, but that's getting delayed a little bit too. So unfortunately, if you were excited for it on the Switch, you're going to have to wait a little longer. Hopefully not too long. So
sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe someday when that Switch Pro happens.
Yeah. Yep.
Launch title for the Switch Pro.
Yep.
Another game that I know, Rich, you were I'm interested in to see how people react to this, but it sounded like you were interested in the game as well, is New World, Amazon's MMO.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's getting a delay too, and it sounds like it desperately needs it because it's in a pretty rough state. I haven't
That's
played
what I've
it.
heard.
I haven't bought into the beta. I've really only watched the YouTube talking heads about it, and a lot of people say it's okay. It's rough. They're concerned that a month is probably not going to be enough because it's lacking end game content. Um, it's very people say like the combat is okay. It feels kind of clunky for a lot of people. Um, yeah, there's general concerns that a month is probably not enough and that they're expecting that it might get delayed again. Otherwise, it'll release in the state that it's in.
Do you think 13 months would be okay?
I don't know.
Because I believe, if I recall, this was actually supposed to release last August. And then it got pushed and then it got pushed because this has come up. New World has come up a few times. Usually it's just for this type of update. It's been delayed, because
I do remember there being, I think, like I don't remember if it was like early this year or sometime last year that there was another like really limited beta for open world that you could buy into through Steam or something like that. But I can't remember when that was. It was a long while ago though.
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be out last year and got delayed. Again, to kind of your talking points, I think the main one that you hit on there was end game content. I believe was the big thing from last year, if I remember 12 months ago. So don't take my word for it, but
yeah, it's just, it seems like according to people, according to those who have played it, it's rough. So a delay is good.
Yeah. Hopefully it's enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still willing to try it, especially if there's people to play with. I think that it probably softens the blow a lot if the game is kind of because you can, I mean, any game that you play with friends, you can make fun no matter how garbage it is. That's just kind of the way it is.
That being true.
Yep. Like Sea of Thieves.
That's actually a very recent
very
example.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's also the first MMO that's potentially going to have a rough launch, right? Didn't
a lot of them?
We don't have Mike here. Didn't ESO? Didn't that have a rough launch? Elder Scrolls Online.
I wasn't there for the launch.
I vaguely recall like having a rough one.
More not like rough. Maybe it's like connection issues or something, bugs or anything, but more like. Again, I think a lot of the problem with MMOs is somebody who doesn't play. You have some of these established MMOs, so whenever a new one comes out, people forget it. It took years to. WoW's been out 16 years, 2005 or something like that.
2004.
Right? So that's 16 years of content development, refinement, and other garbage because it's Activision, and Blizzard, but so people are used to that kind of level. So when a new one comes out and there's not all of that content, or maybe like, this system, isn't as great as it could be, but it gets refined. Because I remember, I think during one of our E3 talks, Mike was saying how much fun Elder Scrolls is now, to go back and play. And it initially, not that it wasn't fun, but wasn't as much of a fun of experience as it is now.
Yeah, I mean, so the game sounds like it's pretty fun. One, you mentioned an MMO that had a really like heartbreaking launch. Yeah, I do have a good example of that, and that's Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 released, I think it was like 2010, maybe 2011 originally. And the launch, and it was received so badly that they actually pulled it. Like they shut down the servers, they pulled it, and they threw it back into development. And then it re-released several years later as A Realm Reborn. And then now that game is quickly overtaking WoW in popularity, especially recently. Is that people who are basically fed up with WoW's garbage are fleeing World of Warcraft and going straight to Final Fantasy 14 or any other MMOs for that matter. And really, yeah, New World and Final Fantasy 14 are kind of like the two main targets for a lot of people who are basically WoW refugees looking for a new place to go, myself included. Actually, I've tried Final Fantasy 14. I could get into it, but New World could be good if it is good. That's a really profound statement, but hey, that's what I got.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been forever since I've been played an MMO like a lot.
No, it's not. You played World of Warcraft Classic like a couple of years ago, and you didn't even try it
for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I meant like, see, I years ago when it first launched, I put a ton of time in Guild Wars 2.
I like Guild Wars 2.
And have on and off done SWTOR. Like when that first launched, played it for a few months, but that was monthly subscription. Yeah. And whenever they came back and took that away and made it free to play, played through it a bunch with a couple buddies, and it was a lot of fun.
That's what's really appealing to me about New World, is that I like that it doesn't have a subscription model, that it's just a buy to play game similar to Elder Scrolls. And I like that. I like that.
That was the nice thing about the Guild Wars 2.
Yep, and Guild Wars 2. Yeah. There's no subscription model.
That was a fun one. That was a fun game. This fantastic world, it's large, all the stuff to do. It's a massively multiplayer online game, and I probably put 100 or more hours into it playing by myself.
That's most MMOs, though. That's the sad state of just MMOs in general, is that there's so much solo content in a lot of modern MMOs. You don't need to play with people until you hit endgame. The
group of friends that initially bought it too ended up I don't know what I don't think it was like, oh, this sucks, kind of quit, but they ended up not really playing it that much. And I had an absolute blast just exploring the massive zones and doing, a lot of their little side quests that you could do by yourself, the points of interest, the jumping puzzles. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And such a beautiful world, a lot of, varying biomes and stuff. But anyways, good times.
Yep. The original Guild Wars was dope.
Yeah, I tried to play that a little bit before the second one came out and just didn't get into it. But yeah. MMO hour is about to end, Chris. Well, why don't you tell us about this next one? Because this is up your alley, right? Are you disappointed about this one? Yeah.
Oh, no. You want to know why I'm not disappointed? Because once again, the world of the Evil Dead acknowledges the month of my birth and decides to push a game until that date.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, February. We have to wait now until February to play the new Evil Dead game, which looks so freaking cool.
Yeah, they just need a little more polish. Yep. Again, I think until we kind of like really get over all the pandemic stuff, I imagine this is going to be a common segment on this show. Luckily, not the delay. What do we call it? Delay-mageddon last year, where it was just like game after game. But I imagine we're going to get these 2 or 3, 4 month type situation where, people just need more time, which is good. Again, we're all for delaying a game if it's going to make it better.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for Cyberpunk, but it is what it is.
Just means 2022 is going to be the year of the video game. There's going to be so much shit coming out.
Yeah. I like that.
That's true.
All on board.
So, Rich, did you get to play Diablo 2? Did you get one of those beta keys?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I got to play the D2 Resurrected early access beta, I think is what they called it. Yeah, I did. It was what do you want? Just like my general feedback on it, or
sure, whatever. We can go into some of the deets here.
All right, cool.
And your feelings on it.
Yeah, my general feelings on it is that it's pretty good. Off the cuff, it definitely seems better than Warcraft 3 Reforged. Just general first impression. I think we kind of expected that, though, because we were really leaning on Vicarious Visions to really do the game justice. And I think they have. It's incredibly faithful to the original game, which is what I appreciate it. Just as a longtime Diablo fan, I appreciate it so much.
Mm-hmm.
The game visually looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I was playing with a buddy of mine over the weekend, and they have a similar feature if you remember from like the Halo 2 anniversary and the Halo CE anniversary where you could toggle between the visuals.
Oh, that's fun.
So you have that for Diablo 2, and it was just like you flip from the good graphics to the old graphics, and I was just like, ah, and I was like, all right, we gotta flip it back. Like I was like, you know what? This is one of those times where it's like, I honestly don't want the old game because this is so much better. Now, there's a caveat to that because this is one of the things that people are really worried about with the D2 remaster or the D2 resurrected. I should just call it what it is that it had a lot of bugs. There were a lot of bugs in this beta. And so people were having all kinds of issues with like crashes, lag, UI bugs, weird gameplay, visual effects things that were happening with certain spells or whatever. It was really bizarre. Personally, I didn't run into a lot of those. I think I only crashed like once. Like I booted up the game, it immediately crashed. I got into the game and then I was good to go after that. But god damn, dude, those cinematics. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch those. They're on YouTube. Wow, those crazy. Are good. Like that is like Halo 2 levels of like holy crap good.
I wanted to watch them and I started to watch some of it and click through and I was like, you know what? I not going to buy it when it comes out. Give it at minimum like a week or two because it's Blizzard and you know maybe it'll suck, maybe it'll be broken, maybe these bugs won't get fixed, right? But I was like, you know what? I haven't played this before. I want to kind of go into this and experience it when I'm sitting down to play it. So
yeah.
So I didn't watch the cinematics, but they were like the little bits I clicked through and watched. I was like, okay, this is was it Blizzard animation or you know because they don't they have a special team or group over there that does all their animation. It's just fantastic.
They're always so good. Like it doesn't matter how bad World of Warcraft has become. Those cinematics are always just so damn good that it's just like, oh, I could just watch this.
I up until a year or two ago when Classic came out, I never played WoW, but I always looked forward to a new Blizzard or a new WoW cinematic because they were just so amazing,
so cool.
So cool.
They're pretty, very pretty.
And I've even for a while argued with friends that Blizzard should expand their animation team and basically kind of start a Pixar but with their own IPs. Which didn't they help out with the Warcraft movie?
Yeah, but that movie was poorly written.
Yeah. But animation wise.
It looks pretty
CG
good.
Stuff.
It looked really weird because it was superimposed with a lot of like real life actors and things like that. And there's a lot of green screen, and you could tell there was a lot of green screen. If they had just done it fully CG, probably would have been pretty damn good.
That's what I'm saying is like they've got these fantastic worlds, basically build your own Pixar, but I mean, especially with I don't know if the fad's dying down, but with all this excitement the last like what 13 years with superhero movies with Marvel and DC, why they didn't make an Overwatch movie in-house? Like they make all those cinematics and there's enough of those out there now that there's basically a movie if you watch them all back to back. They don't make sense when they're run back to back, but yeah, I love their animation studio. But
they're so good.
Yeah.
Besides that though, the gameplay plays exactly like Diablo 2, and I say that as a plus. I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm not the hugest fan of Diablo 3. Mainly for art style and kind of what they did with a lot of the classes. And of course, the launch was kind of rough with the whole auction house thing being a questionable pay to win mechanic. But honestly, I think that you probably like, this is just my personal opinion, but yeah, with the D2 remaster, I don't think you would need to play Diablo 3 anymore. That this, like, the game just stands alone on it, like, gameplay wise, it stands up on its own, and it does a very good, it does basically all the things correctly for Diablo that you would expect, because it wrote those things that need to be correct. Stuff that Diablo 3 followed up on but didn't really deliver on. Just the whole dark, gritty atmosphere, the storytelling is all just great. The audio that they've remastered also really, really good. It's another one of those things that, like, when you toggle between the old and the new, you can notice the difference in the audio and all that. And it's just so, like, it's just so wonderful to look and listen to look at and to listen to. And it was just an overall very fun experience. I highly recommend trying it over the next open beta. I'd say just download it, try it. Like, you can play, like, this is one thing I don't understand why they did this with Diablo 3. But so back in Diablo 2, you know, the game that came out 13 years prior to Diablo 3, you could play with up to 8 people. And then in Diablo 3, they shrunk it down to 4. So 8 people, that's a lot of Campfire Gaming podcast listeners that we could get on for some Diablo 2 and play through it together. It would be really, really fun.
Yep.
So you only got to play the first 2 acts. So that's just what they have done. But this is also another point of concern that a lot of people have, is that out of the, how many are there? 7 classes. You only got to play 5. And then there are a total of 5 acts, but you only got to play 2 of them. The game is supposed to be releasing next month. We don't know how new this build actually is. So we don't know how much of these bugs are going to be ironed out, how many new bugs are going to be introduced when they open up all the rest of the classes and the acts. So it's a crapshoot, man. We'll see. I think, just first impressions, I think it's going to be monumentally better than the Warcraft 3 Reforged launch, which is not a high bar, but it's alleviating some of that fear that I, as a Diablo fan, had when I heard about this Resurrected project coming out. Is this going to be a Warcraft 3 thing?
Yeah. I never played a Warcraft game, but I was disappointed in Reforged, mostly because I wanted that to be my entry into the game, or the Warcraft series. Started the 3rd one, right?
Yeah, you start at 3.
Like all great series.
Go backwards, right? It's kind of like, what was that movie? Was it Memento? Or
yeah, you just work it backwards like Memento.
Yeah.
Start with Return of the Jedi. Start with The Last Crusade. Start with Return of the King.
Yeah, just work your way back.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
How did they get here? You got to find out.
Who are these people?
Yeah.
Why does he? I like it. Rich kind of already mentioned beta dates. They had an early access beta. That's when you played. And open beta is the August 20th to 22nd. So if you're listening to this on the 21st, get on it.
Quick,
because
go get it.
You'll only have about potentially 48 hours to play it. So, but even if you miss it, launch day as of now, until it potentially possibly maybe makes it into the delay section of our episode, the current release date is September 23rd. So, yep. But the only other tidbit I saw is, this a big deal, Rich? They promised and said it was going to be there, but I don't know how big of a deal it is that it's not going to be. The TCP IP multiplayer is not going to be in the game. I imagine if people are planning to play this at LANs, that could affect it. But otherwise, I'm guessing it's I don't want to say outdated feature, because LANs are a good place for this type of functionality. And there's still plenty of LANs that are hosted around the world. But I don't know if this is a big deal or not.
Yes, kind of. The reason that it is kind of a big deal is that, besides the whole LAN party thing, I mean, most LAN parties, you just have internet connection anyway nowadays. So that's not necessarily the issue. The issue is that there is a very large modding community for Diablo 2, and they use these offline mode, like these TCP/IP sort of modes, to use these mods with other players.
Yeah.
So that's the big reason why that feature not being in is really disappointing for a lot of people. However, they did come out with a statement saying that they are going to be addressing mods, but they're taking a different approach to it. What that means, we don't know.
Yep.
But
Interesting.
that would be why it is kind of a big deal.
Well, at least hopefully they do good by the modding community, but I imagine it's got to be a security thing.
That's what they said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it was. Though the reason that they're pulling the TCP/IP connection is that they saw it as a potential security risk, and so because they want to, of course, not allow bad actors and hackers and things like that to take advantage of people, they decided to not go with that feature, even though it was promised like last year or something like that.
I think it was when it first announced.
Yeah.
Because is it Rod Ferguson that's on
Rod
the team?
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that
Rod
because that
Ferguson
was
mentioned it, and then they had to walk back on that one because I guess this might have been a newer thing that they saw it as a security threat, but yeah,
we'll see what happens.
right.
Everybody's got internet, right? Just like everybody's got phones.
Yep.
So we're inching closer to Battlefield 2042. We got a little bit of tidbits. I'm going to start with actually the bottom one of my notes here because it made me sad looking at this. I'm getting to, I don't want to say end of life because it's still very
it's end
good.
Of life. Just say it.
Okay. My graphics card is starting to show its date, and we finally got they had a play test recently, and the PC specs for it for minimum required a AMD Radeon RX 560 or an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050. I have a 1070. Again, it plays all the games I want to now, but it's starting to get to that point where, damn the chip shortages. I want to get a new graphics card. I wanted to have a 3000 series by now already, but I don't. So looking at this, I'll still be able to pick it up for PC, but hopefully,
You'll be playing it on toaster tier.
Yeah, I mean, other than the graphics card, my CPU and my RAM are fine. I think I have like 32 gigs of RAM. That's not a big deal. And I have an i7 6000 series, I believe, or something. I'd have to look. It's been forever, but so it's just the graphics card really where it's like I need to upgrade.
You need to get a new one, yeah.
But so it's exciting. That playtests are happening. Hopefully we get.
Oh, go ahead.
Hopefully we get a beta soon, so we
Yeah.
can try it out, and then I can see how disappointed I might be if I don't have a 3000 series card.
Did you hear about what happens if you break the NDA of the playtest?
No.
What?
You're banned from the full game.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you just sign up with a different account, right?
It depends on how they're tracking it. I mean,
Play through a VPN,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's still man, that's really harsh for a playtest, but I don't know.
They're
Whatever.
really serious about this NDA.
I might have agreed to an NDA recently on something, but I'm not about to get banned from the game by talking about it right now.
Oh, good. So let's talk about it.
I can say it's not Battlefield, but
Then I don't care.
Yeah, something else that hopefully I can talk about soon. Some other things that they kind of mentioned. I don't think this is a huge deal, but they have no plans for ranked esports. It's been forever since I've really played a Battlefield game. I don't remember there being like ranked in a big esports scene with like Battlefield 5 or 1. Were they?
Well, ranked, I think I last saw in Battlefield 4 that I can recall.
Yeah, I'm sure there was ranked. I never participated because I never took Battlefield seriously like an esport. To me, that was always I want to get immersed and just have fun kind of a game, not like get super, super sweaty with it.
Well, Battlefield doesn't really play well for an esport. They want something faster paced and a little bit more, for lack of a better phrase, chaotic.
Yeah.
And Battlefield is more...
A bit more structured.
Yeah.
Like that's like if there was a really more structured, like I could bring it up again. Like, I could see there potentially being a esports scene around Hell Let Loose if you get 2 teams of 50 that actually coordinate, right?
Yeah.
And you have those squads do. Oh, they just did.
Though it's still an hour and a half game for that.
But I mean, yeah,
That's
I think that's a stretch. But like, I could see something out of that because it's a little more structured. You could have those teams that have different roles working together to do this and that. Where like Battlefield is just. I guess I wouldn't see where like you'd have that esports scene. You don't. I don't know.
The only thing I could see with Battlefield and I guess esports would be the Battlefield Portal stuff, because you could come up with some wicked cool events for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could build a esport mode out of the Portal stuff to do that, and I mean that's fine. I'm actually like, the more I think about it, the more I'm okay with this, because one of the things I kind of hate, especially lately, is when the developer of the company kind of takes ownership of the esports scene surrounding their game.
Yeah.
I love the grassroots esports stuff.
It's
like I
more
love the stuff like the MLGs and the the IEMs and things like that. The things that like aren't really put on by the developer, and it's just people who love the game organizing tournaments for the game. That's fine. I say, don't put a ranked thing in. Let the community figure that stuff out. That's what they're good at. If they want to do it, they'll do it.
Yeah. Do something like just record your stats and different things like that. And then you'll get those nerds out there that build their own. They did that with a bunch of stuff in Destiny when I played. There was all these sites to go look and see this and that, and it's like,
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, because back in like the Battlefield 2 days, I remember having BF2S stats and like going and comparing your friends and stuff like that, seeing what like gun unlocks you got and all that. That's cool. That's fun.
Yeah. No, it's again, it doesn't affect me any. I just hope the game's good so I can have fun playing it. So it's gonna have to be really good to take me away from Hell Let Loose. So, but kind of a bummer, but we'll see how this goes. It was also brought up in their Q1 financial year investor call that the CEO mentioned that we should look at Battlefield as a service. So one of those good old games as a service type thing is what made me cringe. I don't know if that's like exactly, I assume that's what they're talking about. I don't know. It's yet to be seen how Halo's going to handle this, because that's a 10-year game, right? They're just going to keep adding into that. I'm wondering if maybe Battlefield's going to try to take that same approach where they do draw some hard lines in the sand and say, okay, well, this was Battlefield 2042 multiplayer year 1 through 3, and then maybe in a year or two we kind of get, I don't know, Battlefield 2043, and then it's kind of a whole new meta, new this and that. But I don't know. I'm over this games as a service BS stuff. I'm done.
I could see them using portals as a service mechanism, for lack of a better thing, because that'd be an easy one to be like, oh, and now we're adding, Battlefield 1 stuff into it or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could even say that, like, with the exception to the campaign, like all the multiplayer stuff was already pretty service-y.
Yeah.
It was all like live service-y stuff. You had to go through that goofy battle. What was it like? Was it Battle Eye or something like that? Or like
Battle Log, wasn't it?
Battle Log, yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah, you had to go through like that weird Battle Log service.
Worked.
Yeah, to get through like your server browser.
Yeah.
My hope is that they clean it up a lot. But yeah, like even with the same, even in the same vein as Halo, I mean, if you're supporting an online game, it is an online service. Where I'm hoping that they have some long-term support for it, similar to how they do with Battlefield 4. I mean, that game is almost 10 years old now. I would hope that they get Battlefield 2042 and they give it the same treatment, that it's going to, the servers are going to be lasting for a long time, and they continuously add content and things like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff I like.
Well, to me, that feels a little, that's just kind of supporting your game rather than a games as a service. I don't know.
What is your differentiate? Like, what makes it different for you?
Well, I mean, I guess to your point, they've been doing this for Battlefield 1 at least, right? Doing a lot of that season pass stuff and just doing all that stuff instead. Like to me, what you're talking about sounds good. Yeah, the servers are up. They'll be up probably for like 10 years. We'll put out a bunch of new maps, maybe some new modes and support the game long term. That's to me traditional how you support a multiplayer game. But adding in a lot of this gimmicky cosmetic stuff, battle passes or whatever you want to call it, like, right, all this extra side stuff that I don't know.
Wasn't it was Battlefield 3 that introduced the shortcut for the kits? So if you wanted to unlock all the assault weapons, you could pay something on 2.
Yeah.
And then
3 was actually
just unlocked.
3 was a big reason I stopped playing Battlefield.
Oh, really? God, and the maps were so good though. That's what really frustrates.
Yeah, they had really good maps.
I played it, but it was just because I was, maybe, I don't know. It was kind of peak trash EA, right? Where it was like they purposely built it in where you had to grind a lot longer to unlock stuff, and then they're like, or you could spend $10 or whatever it was. Your assault equipment will all be there, and I'm just like, no, you're not respecting my time. I'll go play Destiny.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what they do with it. My hope is that they just give it a nice long-term support. Regular content updates, things like that.
You can buy some cosmetic crap that some people will pay an arm and a leg for, and the rest of us just don't give a shit about.
Exactly. No loot boxes. I don't want loot boxes.
No loot boxes. No FOMO.
No FOMO.
I'm starting to get so over battle passes at this point. Although we'll see how it all pans out, but at least a game that's going to have battle passes is doing it right. Halo Infinite, supposedly. That's a terrible transition.
That was rough. That was really rough. Where did it go?
Did anybody else get into the technical flight, I guess it was?
No, Matt. Unfortunately, I did not get into this flight, and I didn't decide to go for a long-ass bike ride during my flight time.
I didn't know it was going to be planned that way, so I got into the Halo flight, and I got a couple games in before I went to Wisconsin for the weekend, and I just didn't get to play. I think I got 3 or 4 games in, and the worst part was it was early on in the week. From what I understand, how it worked was they kept bumping up the difficulty of the bots, and then I think it was on the final day for an hour or two they actually opened up PvP. So I missed all of that stuff. I wouldn't say it wasn't fun, but the bots they weren't pushovers because they killed me every now and then. But I mean, the games were like 50-10, right? The humans just destroyed the bots the first day, whatever difficulty they were on the first day. But no, it was my small amount of time with it. I'm gonna still be skeptical, but it was good. It was fun, and also saw a lot of good reactions from the media and other people that played it. But the one thing I did not know, and what I planned on talking about here, was that assassinations are not going to be in there at launch, which I found a little odd. It's not a big deal, but
they were fun.
They were fun, but most people turned them off. That's why they got rid of them.
Yeah.
It's a good reason why they're not going to be in there. But I guess, it was just kind of odd. I felt assassinations were kind of that one of those things that were Halo now, right? So it's a little odd when I first saw that they were not going to be in there. But yeah, to your point, it provides or it's a disadvantage to assassinate somebody because you're locked into that animation, and I remember playing,
and it was very easy to do it on accident.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was the other problem.
Yeah. But I've definitely died a few times, and what was Reach wasn't the first. Reach was the first one. Yeah.
Yep. Reach had it.
But Halo 3 didn't, right?
Halo 3 did not.
Yeah, so Reach was the first one. So Reach 4 and 5. I remember there's times where I've killed somebody in the middle of an assassination, and maybe once or twice died myself. But
yep.
Yeah. Just gotta make them invincible, right? While they're assassinating.
No.
No, because they're like that's how I remember Halo Reach having the assassinations, is that they had a specific medal for killing somebody mid assassination.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, if a lot of people are just gonna turn them off and not use them, there's no real point to putting them in for just cosmetic flavor. That's kind of all it was. It's kind of a little extra middle finger on top of a back smack.
Yeah. But hopefully more news of Halo coming soon. I'm hoping they do another flight soon and at Rich and Chris,
I hope I get into it. Yeah. I was pretty,
nice.
I'm not going to lie, I was salty. I was pretty salty I didn't get into that.
Yep. They just like me. I've done flights for them multiple times. Halo and other games. I'm the Xbox fanboy. I got
with
I
how
got Phil,
much
I got Phil Spencer on speed dial.
Yeah, with how much he's been selling Game Pass lately, they only had enough beta keys for one of us.
Phil picked me.
I've been with the game since it was a Mac game. How dare they?
Yeah. Too bad it never came out on the Mac.
I've been with the game since it was an Xbox game.
Steve Jobs, still the first person to ever show the game off.
Kind of feel was isn't it Jason Jones was the first person to show the game off on Steve Jobs' stage?
No.
Okay.
No. Steve introduced the video.
Did he?
At a Macworld conference, yeah.
I thought Jason Jones came out. Anyways, some good news. I just realized we have a couple of these kind of stories in here where they're like some good news, but they're just kind of tidbits of it. But EA really liked Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order so much.
A lot of people did.
I was going to say a lot of us did.
Yeah. But more importantly, EA liked it because it brought in a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
the only reason to like it.
What that means is they've greenlit more games in that series. So that's exciting. I hope they're already far enough along into creating whatever the next one is. So it's not like, hey, yeah, we're just starting now on a new game. I hope it's a year. When did the Jedi Fallen Order came out? Is that like a year and a half ago now?
It was like 2 years ago
now. 2 years ago this fall or this holiday, probably
something like that.
So hopefully that means they're a little ways into development of the next one.
The story ends with the idea that they're that could lead into a sequel. So I'm assuming someone at
don't get my hopes up. I've played too many games. Metal Arms. I don't remember that game. Freedom Fighters.
I do remember Metal Arms. Come on, man.
Freedom Fighters. Sunset Overdrive. There you go. Squeeze that into the podcast.
With that one.
Too many games that get teased about. Sequel. But no, that's good news. Good news. So, some information on some games coming out soon. Some news for World War Z Aftermath. This is kind of exciting. Either of you guys play World War Z?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, Chris, you, Mike, and I play.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is a fun game. I think this is kind of, we've talked about a few times that we should hop on as a podcast and stream together. It's kind of Left 4 Dead, but it's a third-person shooter, a little more arcadey maybe than Left 4 Dead.
Well, because it still has that flood zombie mechanic that the movie did. That's fucking weird.
Which is it's really cool. Yeah. But no, I had a lot of fun with it. They've got this Aftermath expansion coming out on September 21st. It adds new missions, or how did they call it? Is it new chapters to the various missions in the cities? Something like that, right? So it's not. So they're adding like 1 or 2 new chapters to each of the stories that already exist, while also adding a whole full new story with their episodes or chapters in them for Rome, Vatican City, and Russia. So that's exciting. Something else too, I didn't think it was awful, but it wasn't a great system. It sounds like they're upgrading the melee system, which when you're fighting hordes of zombies. But they're also, along with this, will be specific melee weapons. So it could be pretty exciting. And the craziest thing that I read, which could be interesting, especially with Back for Blood coming out, is they're adding a first person mode, which will be interesting. I hope it plays really well. So it'll be interesting to see how World War Z and Back for Blood kind of, if they compete, if you're going to get those people like, oh, it's better here, better there. But yeah.
Who has the better director behind the scenes?
Yeah. I mean, World War Z is a fun game already. I've played through I think I've beaten all but 2 of the chapters in, where was that? Russia, I think it is. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. We should all get on there and stream sometime.
It'd be fun.
Rich would love it.
Back for Blood was okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
we never had
I forgot. I downloaded that last weekend and I never hopped on. Yeah, first impressions?
It was fun.
It was okay.
Yeah, it definitely, there's parts that I think it needs some work, but
yeah,
it's not like, it won't sap the excitement for playing it like with a group of friends.
Right. Yeah, it didn't quite capture the same funness of like Left 4 Dead 2 did, or like how Left 4 Dead 2 was like fun. The like, in my opinion, it didn't seem like it did much that was new to set it apart from Left 4 Dead, which made it feel like kind of just a worse Left 4 Dead 2. And I say worse because I really did not I thought the card and deck building mechanic was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was neat, but the cards aren't interesting.
No.
Like a lot of the cards that I had, at least the ones that we were given in the beta or the ones that we could unlock in the beta, were not fun. Like it was just a lot of tiny little modifications here and there to kind of slightly give you an edge in places, but you didn't really feel it. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like you get a 6% increased loading speed, and it's like, well, who the hell cares? Like that's not fun.
Yeah, I'm not
like,
really gonna pay attention.
Cares? To that. Yeah.
I wonder if the whole kind of replay gets you, or maybe microtransactions or something is like, oh, you'll be able to buy better cards. So like you'll have different tiered cards, maybe like, oh yeah, the base one's 6%, but at some point you can unlock or buy one it's 20%, right? And it's probably going to be a little more noticeable, but
right. Yeah, I would hope that
it's weird.
Yeah, I would hope that like they kind of beef that up a little bit to make it like really noticeable, to really change play styles. I had one card that really just adjusted my play style, and that was like you get health back whenever you kill a zombie.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, whenever you kill a zombie with melee, you get health back. So I was like, oh, cool. So I'm just going to pick up whatever melee weapon I can find, and we're just going to play hack and slash, baby. Yeah. I'm not going to die. And it was great, and it worked. That was the only card that really did anything to really change my mind on how to play the game.
Now, who did you play as?
I don't remember the characters' names. Really? No, I played the grandma.
Yep.
On one of my first runs. And then I played, I don't remember what his name was, but like the long-haired dude.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the kind of like the hipster dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played him on one of our other runs.
When I played with Dan, I played as Mama, the old woman, because I like the ability, like was it one time per map she can instantly revive someone, as opposed to having to do the slow kind of pick them up thing. But her banter with everybody else in that game just made her so entertaining that that's the stuff I love about Turtle Rock Studios games, is that little banter between the characters. It's just fun.
Yeah. The other thing that I had a little bit of an issue with was so while I liked that you could tailor your build to various play styles with like different kinds of weapons and how you would use them and things like that, it really sucked when you were getting all the randomized weapons. I really hated that they put quality, like a quality feature on the weapons. So you have like your looter shooter style, like gray, green, blue, purple, orange
I was unprepared
tier weapons.
For that.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this feels like such bullshit that like we go and we find like we do some map exploring and we find a bunch of green weapons that nobody wants.
Yep.
And it's like like that's dumb.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing a melee play style and you can't find anything beyond like a shitty machete and it's just like you're just shit out of luck, I guess. Like that's dumb.
Yeah.
Not only that, I had a really bad nitpick. You can't take weapon attachments off your guns.
Yep.
That pissed me off. Like I legitimately got mad about that.
You can take them off only if you're replacing them with a different one.
Yeah. Like if you have a good attachment on one gun and you find a better, like, so say you have a god tier attachment on a shitty gray weapon, but then you find like a really kick-ass orange weapon, you can't take it off and put it on the orange weapon. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Why would you not be able to do that? That is like my one giant gripe with the game is that like, why? Like, why can't you take attachments off of a gun?
Well, it takes time. You might need special tools, you know.
Right.
And maybe like especially a sight, you know, it's not like you can just take a sight off one gun, put it on the other, and all of a sudden, you know, you gotta take it to the range, sight it in, right? You know, and nobody's got time for that in a zombie apocalypse, so might as well not swap it out.
Might as well not.
Yeah.
It makes the gameplay so much more fun to not be able to pick what attachments you can keep from guns that are bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, any other thoughts on Back for Blood?
No, besides, well, I mean, yes, I have lots. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Welcome to the Back for Blood podcast with your host, Rich.
I don't know, like, Chris, did you think like the pacing was really weird on that first campaign?
That was honestly my biggest complaint, is the pacing was really awkward and just felt off. Like
so they broke up the first act is what I believe is what they called it. Basically, I mean, think of like your typical Left 4 Dead mission set. Like it's 4 missions or 1 full mission broken up into like 4 chapters. And then at the end, you get a grand finale, yada, yada, yada. It's all well and good. So they broke it up into like, instead of 4 main chapters, it's like 8 little mini chapters, but some of them are way, way shorter than others. So like the first like 3 or 4 missions are literally like 5 minutes long. It's super, super short. And it was just ridiculous. Like you walk through an area, get into 1 zombie fight, and the mission's over. You're in the safe zone. And it's like, that's over? Like, that's it? That's all we had?
That was my feeling for the last mission. It took us like 5 minutes to do it. And we were just like, we're done?
With the little grand finale thing, with the
howitzer artillery piece.
Yeah. It's just like, and not only that, it just ends.
Yep. You just jump it on V and that's it. You're done.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, they don't
so weird.
They don't want to spoil the story, you know, right? So they don't.
Yeah, but it just felt like after everything you'd been through, so anticlimactic to be like, oh, we just fire that a few times and that's it?
Yeah.
We won? Oh.
Stop the zombie apocalypse with a couple
we're just out of here.
rounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Victory.
Yeah, that would be my other giant nitpick with the game. Besides the weapon attachments, it was just the pacing felt really off, and it was like so inconsistent how long each level felt, because like towards the end of all of that, there were like 2 or 3 missions that felt like a normal sized Left 4 Dead mission. I was like, could have liked this. I mean, you could have just like combined the first like 3 levels and you would have a proper Left 4 Dead chapter. Like
they'll do that in what, about like 10 years? They'll do the Metro.
They'll just stitch them together.
Right? Stitch them together.
I mean, they probably should. It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was okay. The guns were fun to play with. There's a lot of different kinds of guns, which is pretty sweet.
Well, I'm glad it'll be on Game Pass.
Yes.
That's the magic of Game Pass. Like, I wouldn't buy this if it was $60.
I mean, fortunately, me and Dan got matched up with some pretty good
You got matched
people.
up with Dan. Yeah, I see.
Wow.
That's why you're experienced. No,
No,
I
fortunately,
like talking shit about other co-hosts
when they're not
when they're
here.
not here.
Fortunately, Dan and I got matched up with some pretty good people, so we never talked, but they didn't like mess around too much, and we didn't have to carry them. So it's like, oh, okay, this is fine. But of course, if no one else I knew bought the game, I definitely wouldn't be picking it up because what's the point? It's meant to be shared with friends.
Yep.
No, I'd be down to try it. I'm always big on those cooperative games like that where, you can work together. I miss playing. It's been forever, but I miss playing like Left 4 Dead. That's why I think I really enjoyed World War Z. It's just fun to hop in there and fight off hordes of zombies or waves of them if it's World War Z.
Jesus, yeah.
But it's good times.
Should we talk about the least anticipated game amongst our group?
I was just gonna make a joke about how I almost mentioned to you guys if you wanted to push off recording so we could talk about it on Thursday. But then I realized I don't give a shit about Call of Duty. We'll talk about it, I'm sure, because we talk about video games here. But it's like, nah, I don't give a shit about this game. Anyways, Call of Duty Vanguard. We're recording on a Tuesday, the 17th. Vanguard will be revealed on the 19th. So I imagine
in Warzone, mind you.
In Warzone. I imagine we'll talk about it a little bit in one of our upcoming podcasts, I guess, depending on how much information they show or do, or however they reveal this.
Yeah.
Go check it out. There is a trailer. I guess you could just go check out whatever announcement they had on the 19th when you're listening to this. But they also released a trailer. It appears like it's going to be set in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's going to be a little bit more of like the Eastern Front, because the first group of armed men you see are Russians with bows and guns. So I'm wondering if that's like the new hot World War II stuff to do is Eastern Front.
Well, the tail end of it looked like it was in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Oh man, I really hope. Like, I'm sad that they call it Call of Duty Vanguard. I was really hoping they'd call it Call of Duty World War II 2. I really like. I was like, oh.
Now I want that.
Yeah,
now
I want perfect.
That. Oh. But some of the news that I guess they data mined this, but then somebody on Twitter confirmed it that worked at Activision. Which studio is making this? Is this
Sledgehammer?
Sledgehammer. Which makes sense if it's World War II themed because they made World War II. Yeah. But they confirmed that the first alpha will take place on August 27th, only on PlayStation.
They like their special deals.
Yay.
Okay.
The comments were just flooded with people going, oh, suck at Xbox. I'm like, people still play this game?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that play it. I just haven't been a fan. Haven't played one in years.
Yeah, you just hit them with the imagine getting excited to play a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
It's not like these don't come out every year.
Every year. And then you guys decide to fight over, Xbox or PlayStation. Yeah. Anyways, any listeners that like Call of Duty, I hope you like it. I'm always a fan of World War II games, although I haven't played World War II. So, and I guess I probably won't be playing World War II too, right? Or Vanguard, but so there was a huge announcement though today, the 17th. Did you guys see this?
No, I missed this one.
Massive. This is a groundbreaking game in the 90s that has made it's come to the future. It's been modernized a tiny bit using 3D technology, which was not available in the 90s. But Myst, developed by Cyan, which if I remember correctly, Cyan actually has some of the original developers of Myst and Riven, I believe.
I think you're right, yeah.
On their team. So it was announced today that it's coming to Xbox Game Pass, or sorry, Game Pass for PC and Xbox on August 26th. So that's exciting. I haven't played Myst in forever, so seeing this, I was kind of like, maybe. it'll probably just go on that long list I've now referenced 3 times tonight. But I got fond memories. I wonder if I'd have as much fun going back and playing it as I did. And if I remember correctly, this is one I think already out, I believe. But I believe they have a mode in there where right now you can walk around 3D, like a 3D space, right? You would like a first person shooter or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe they have a mode in there where you can switch it back to that kind of like point and click.
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say there's
remember.
a special place out there in people's hearts for point and click adventure games.
And as I was watching the trailer, I was like, oh, if I play this, would I do the 3D or would I? Again, it's still going to be 3D, but would I do the kind of point? I don't know.
There's so many 3D games. You might as well just do the point and click because it's more novel.
Mm-hmm.
But
and also, go ahead.
No, it's also what? Also, Rich.
Oh, well, I mean, it's funny that we bring up Myst just like recently because I was watching Hot Ones just recently, and they had Matt Damon on Hot Ones, and he talked about how he didn't want to do the voice for the Bourne Identity or the Bourne video games because he wanted it to be like Myst. Yeah, he likes Myst apparently.
I mean,
fun fact.
Good on him for liking Myst, but
yeah,
how would you?
He said he wanted it to be a mystery game like Myst.
Matt Damon.
Yep. That's all I got. That's my contribution.
Sorry, it's just, I love this. I love hosting because I just come up with these terrible transitions. So the mid game is from Team America.
Oh my god!
Right, Team America. Guess who else? Guess who makes Team America? Trey Parker and Matt Stone. There was actually a lot of information here, and I weirdly enough only took notes on the gaming side of it, but good for them. They got like some huge, was it like 900 million investment for to extend South Park out to, I think it's 30 seasons. They're going to do like 14 movies for their streaming service.
Wow.
In there, yeah, wow. Oh wow. In there, they also mentioned that they're making a new South Park game. So
I hope it's like a first-person shooter,
like
kind of like the old one.
Game.
Yeah, like the N64 one. I missed the cow gun. The cow sat on your head.
Yeah,
that was good shit.
There's not a lot of information other than they're making one. They did say it's going to be made internally. So let's throw our wild theories out there, right? I was actually reading another article somewhere where they're like, well, I hope this isn't. I think they already have an internal development studio that makes like some of their mobile games, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So I know like they're like worried, oh, hopefully it's not just more of those. But there also was no mention of Ubisoft or Obsidian doing anything with this, right?
Sad.
So
those games were fun.
Again, not confirmed, but
Yeah.
When you say it's being developed internally, that probably means it's not Ubisoft, right? So it'll be interesting to see when more news of this comes out and what they're doing. I enjoyed Stick of Truth. Fractured But Whole was all right. It didn't hit the same as Stick of Truth, but I'd be okay if they did another one in that RPG series.
RPG, yeah. The little tactical RPGs that they had.
Mm-hmm. They were fun.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really funny.
But you had fantasy, then you had like superheroes.
Superhero.
I'd assume you'd go, oh, was it Craig? Was it Craig? No, the Star Trek side. Would you go sci-fi next?
Yeah.
That'd kind of be what you'd have to do at this point.
Yeah. Anyways, hopefully it'll be good, whatever it is, and not a mobile game. Does anybody want to take the exciting rumor?
The fact that they might remaster 3 games that not only changed the face of the video game industry, but also caused a ton of controversy back in their day.
I hope they've.
You can't be a quality video game without causing controversy.
No.
Do you think they'll remaster, what was it, Hot Coffee?
God, probably not.
I hope so. They just leave that in there.
Just leave it in there.
Yep.
It's heavily rumored that GTA was it San Andreas, 3, and Vice City are
Yep, the
all going to be
original-
remastered.
The PS2 era GTAs.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of cool.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, they definitely, especially some of their control schemes show their age really badly. Trying to fly in those old games is near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I liked San Andreas. Let me throw it out there again. We've had this discussion when we were talking about GTA 5. I haven't played, other than screwing around in Grand Theft Auto games, I've never actually played one, right?
Oh, like played through the story?
Played through any stories, did anything. Nope. But I played a lot of San Andreas ones.
Bro, Vice City is so goddamn good. What?
I loved Vice City
like
so
3,
much.
sure, I could give you that you didn't finish 3, fine, whatever. Like San Andreas, also pretty good, but man, Vice City though, come on.
Sounds like these are perfect for me then. But yeah, San Andreas was when I played a couple hours of that, but again, it was over at a buddy's house, just like, you know, he unlocked all the 3 areas or whatever, and you just run around, just screw around, stealing stuff, cars, whatever, planes. And I remember stealing a jet in one of the airports, and it's pretty interesting to fly. But I also like going all the way up as far as you could in the skybox and then jumping out.
Yeah.
Downside was the one time I forgot because it didn't have a parachute or something. It was a fun ride down, and it was only a video game, but but it's supposedly being remastered in Unreal Engine. They're going to kind of do some updates to it, but try to keep some of that kind of PS2 era, you know, whatever stink on it. I don't know. I shouldn't say stink. That's mean. That's a good stink. But it hasn't been, again, this is rumor. This is an article that Kotaku wrote where there's a reliable leaker that passed this information to him. But it's supposedly going to be releasing in October, November this year. So they don't have a ton of time to announce it. But if it's a remaster, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Diablo 2 is a remaster, and they announced that like a year ago.
Yeah, but Rockstar is pretty good at keeping things close to the vest if they really want to.
I was going to say, I thought they were one of those studios that were just like, yeah, you know, we're just going to do it, and then we're ready to talk about it. But we'll see. You know, I don't know when this supposed reliable source got this information. It could be old stuff, right? Maybe COVID has pushed that out, and maybe a lot of this is true, but timetables maybe have shifted, right?
I think the biggest issue that they could run into in remastering these is going to be the music licensing again, because that's so many songs to get the rights to all over again.
Yep.
I mean, heck,
especially for Vice City.
Oh yeah, and GTA 5 still has issues with their music licensing. They've had a couple of radio stations get pulled because they lost the rights to a bunch of music.
It's because that game just never ends.
Well, yeah,
that too.
They probably, because of it constantly being updated and put on the new systems, I'll bet you they have to kind of up those licenses.
When they first developed it, they didn't think it'd still be going at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to go through and start at 3, Matt. You get to hear listen to the radio, and you get to hear the whole journey of Laszlo, the radio DJ Laszlo.
Yes.
He appears, I think, in every single game.
Yeah, because he's one of the
all
writers.
the way up to 5. Yeah, and it's always funny.
Well, maybe because San Andreas is that technically 4 GTA 4? It's just
no. GTA 4 is GTA 4.
It does take place in the same, technically the same city.
Why am I blanking?
Or
on
parts
GTA
of the
4?
same city.
Anyways. Yeah, it's still Los Santos.
Yeah.
Gotcha. My mind's drawing a blank on GTA 4 for some reason.
That's when you're
Liberty City.
Yeah, it's
with,
Nico Bellic.
Yeah, Nico Bellic, and
that's where you have Nico, my cousin. Go see some great big American titties. Yeah, that's where you have that from.
That's what I need to replay.
I can't wait.
Ages.
Chris, help me help remind me when we get to the point we actually have we upgrade to a soundboard and we're getting not only Rich doing his air horn, we're also gonna get him to do his impression there of whoever that was.
Romanov. Roman.
That'd be great.
I love GTA, man. Those are some good ass games.
Seriously.
Can they just like announce 6?
Yeah.
To just let me know that
awesome.
it's a thing. Yeah. I just want to play it. And to have it take place in Vice City.
Wasn't that the rumor?
Yeah.
Supposedly, yeah.
Like a modern day Vice City. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's real, and maybe I'll actually get around to playing Grand Theft Auto remastered, 3 of them.
We'll drag you into it.
I still need to play. I still need to pick up Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I was thinking about that the other day.
I still haven't played it. I beat 1. I haven't.
I think
beaten 2.
I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till like a holiday sale on Steam or Black Friday sale or something like that, and then pick it up. But I was about to say that's all for our episode, but I saw somebody, as you put it here, snuck something in. So, Chris, I'm assuming that's you.
What?
Why don't you let us know what this is?
Just because I'm the one talking about it on our Discord server the most. And I'm not shocked that we kind of, even though on our Discord we do tend to talk about this quite a bit, but since it doesn't make our major news sites, we kind of we gloss over it a lot for the podcast itself. But Phasmophobia is getting some updates. For those that aren't aware, the Phasmophobia was originally all designed by one guy. He's hired on 2 new people, and one of the first things they're releasing this month is they're remodeling all the equipment. All the models we see in the game are basically like ones you can just go buy in a store. And
their assets.
Yeah.
Their asset. Store assets.
Yeah, store assets. That's what I was struggling with. Now they're all unique, or more unique than they were. Someone modeled them on that team as opposed to being store assets. So
good for them.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot more like tiers and all that kind of stuff. So it looks really cool. They've talked about new ghosts. They've talked about new maps. They're talking about redoing a lot of the structure of the game, but this is the first major update they're going to be dropping by the end of the month. So super pumped.
I'm excited to see what they have more in store.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. It is kind of funny seeing, like, I've been playing a lot of these other like ghost hunty sort of games and seeing how many houses they use on the asset.
It's
like
so
it's like a yeah, it's like a it's an like a city street is what that asset is, and it's like a bunch of houses on a city street, and how many of those houses have been used in Phasmophobia or Ghost Hunter Corps or whatever other, you know, $2 asset flip ghost hunting game that has come out.
It's crazy. Yeah. So I'm pumped to see more of what they come out, and hopefully when these updates come out, we'll get together and do some more streaming, because it's been a while.
As I say, I've been distracted with the 3rd, 4th time now. Hell Let Loose a lot, but you guys have been talking it on the podcast quite a bit, and I'm like, really like to play that again too.
I'm getting more comfortable in VR, so I might actually have to do it VR style.
There you go.
Do it.
Asylum Run on VR.
Oh my god, it's just such a big map.
I hope they revisit the bigger maps, because I want to like them, because I think they're cool locations. But
I like the school a lot. And actually, the school and the prison I actually enjoy, because they're unique. The school is just kind of well designed for that kind of stuff, because it's it's a big circle, and the prison is just a kind of a unique layout that it's not too hard to remember your way around. It's just the asylum is a million of the same rooms over and over again.
It just goes back to the argument, and I don't know, we made this when we talked about this on it's kind of a, not book club, but that hybrid book club where we talk about Phasma and Hell Let Loose and Valheim and stuff, right? My only argument was like you move so slow in those large spaces that even with 4 people, if you all are kind of grabbing different equipment, there's just a lot of back and forth, and it takes forever, and it's so slow.
Well,
so I mean, that's my biggest problem with those.
Up until they kind of reorganized it, their Trello board mentioned some things about character speed and the dollar value of the rewards. So I don't know. It'll be cool to see some of the other stuff they come out with.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be exciting because it's a fun game. I enjoy playing it. But I kind of personally hit that wall where like you played it all and it was like, okay, this is good for early access, and I got excited when they hired on 2 more people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and hopefully as we get closer to the end of the year, or maybe they'll start doing like monthly drops or something like that, just some bigger updates, where they're just, hey, we just decided to update this big part of or like the models, like we just updated all our equipment, right? Maybe it's now like next month it's like, oh, we upgraded one of the houses, right? And it's like, and then slowly over the next 6-8 months it gets to be a little more polished. Yeah.
They got to update that ghost behavior, though.
Yeah.
There's one thing that, like, even though it's super, super janky and not nearly as functional as Phasmophobia, there are some really neat things out of Ghost Hunter Core that I really wish was in Phasmophobia. Like the fact that, like the ghost can like crawl on walls and ceilings and things like that is just like, that's so cool. They like the ghost is way more interactive with the player than in Phasmophobia, and that's just like that adds a new level of fun and a little bit of scary to it.
Yeah. I mean, watching that weird mouth face girl model chase you is kind of creepy, but it'd be cooler if she was just like crawling on the wall or something that way. But, yeah,
because that's like I like one of the things I like about Ghost Hunter Core is that the ghost will sometimes just show itself.
Yeah.
And not just when it's hunting or anything like that. It'll just kind of show up, and you don't really need a special event, but that's kind of creepy to like be walking around in a big house and then like you can hear some noises or something like that, and you look up and there's just like a half mutated body just like crawling around on the ceiling above you, and you're just like, oh god, I hope it doesn't come kill me.
Yeah, for those of us that aren't aware of it, Ghost Hunting Corp came out like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago?
It's like a couple of weeks ago.
Was it? Is that it?
Yeah, it's pretty new. It was like an end of July.
Oh. Well, probably the biggest reason you haven't heard us chat a lot about it is the multiplayer didn't really work super well when it first released. They're working on some updates to fix all of that and make it more fun for us to join up. So maybe we'll try to get some of those going together, because some of us have that as well. And it definitely plays differently than Phasmophobia does, even though the concepts are pretty close.
Yeah, they do play pretty different.
But that's all I got for Phasmophobia. Do you really want to start talking about tech stuff?
No, we'll cut it here. Unless you guys want to stay up for another hour.
Holy crap! I just realized what time it is. Oh my god.
We'll cover some of that information at a later date. But no, lots of good stuff. Anything else you mention for anything? Anything? Nothing?
Nope. I think we covered quite a bit in this long episode.
This was a fun episode. We couldn't get Rich to stop talking about Diablo, but
Oh, well, just throwing Rich under the bus.
It's all right. He knows. He knows his lumps are coming.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining me, guys. This was a fun podcast. Thanks, listeners, for tuning in. Again, we mentioned a few times, come have some fun with us on Discord. You can find a link on any of our socials, Game Pod on Twitter, Campfire Gaming Podcast on Instagram, our website, campfiregamingpodcast.com. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, we should have some links below.
Yep, directly below.
So, yes. So thanks again for joining us. See you next time around the campfire.